Jamestown, New York, what's your fondest memory here?
Oh, so many. You know, I think this is where I was able to start my career professionally, on the television side of things, and the ability to cover, I believe, which was a very successful period in sports here, high school sports here in Chautauqua County. You talk about some of the championship years for the Jamestown football team. Southwestern football had some very good runs. Maple Grove football had some very good runs. I just think being a part of the community, part of the sports community, and the ability to learn and make the relationships that I did down here in Chautauqua County for those years was an amazing amazing time of my life.
How'd you get from Kearney, Nebraska, Tom Osborne country, to Jamestown, New York?
I started originally, I grew up actually in Rochester, New York. My first job was in Jamestown, and then I ended up going to Nebraska afterwards.
I see.
So it basically was just sort of the way my career went. Looking to get to a little bit of a bigger place. Lincoln, Nebraska was the 120th market in the country at the time. The ability to sort of cover that big time football. Totally new world for me though, being from Rochester, New York, to go out to the middle of the country in Kearney, Nebraska. Kearney itself was only a city of around 30,000 people. So, but the ability and the sort of the chance to cover big time football, travel across the country in the Big 12, go to the schools, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, was pretty amazing. I do always sort of root for them inside my heart, just because I played a role and was part of that. The championship run, the Rose Bowl against Miami, and then the following year after, where they lost to teams that they hadn't lost to. I covered a game with Nebraska at Penn State, which was one of the largest crowds at that time at Beaver Stadium. It was like being inside a video game. It was so loud. So it'll always hold a special place in my heart, just like Jamestown.
Now you're doing an awful lot of Buffalo Bills.
The official station of the Buffalo Bills up there in the Buffalo market since I've been there, just about 10 years now. So we've been intimately involved in covering them every step of the way. It seems like every day there's something going on with that team, and a lot of frustration, unfortunately, as well, surrounding that team. The lack of playoff appearances since I've been there. I haven't covered a playoff team for the Buffalo Bills. So the ebbs and flows of professional sports, coaches have changed, names have changed. Unfortunately, the success has not changed for the team as of now. John Murphy was a mentor of mine in many ways. He was the one that gave me really my first shot in Buffalo. In the television profession, you sort of go to where the jobs are, kind of chase those jobs, put your tape together, get your experience, and try and move places. And Murph gave me my first opportunity in Buffalo. I came in as his weekend guy, learned a ton from him, not only how to be a professional and how to cover sports at that level, whether it be the Buffalo Bills or the Buffalo Sabres, but also really the importance and how to be a family man outside of that, because it's a demanding profession, and trying to find time for your family, trying to be the best be the best husband and best father that you could be, really showed me a lot of things. Because when I went there, I wasn't married, now I am. When I went there, I did not have any children, and now I do, and I learned a lot from him, not only professionally but also personally. Still a very good friend, still talk often, still see him for dinner from time to time, and now that he works exclusively for the Buffalo Bills, you know, it's really nice to have that relationship continue. I was privileged enough to be the host of the Thurman Thomas Show for several years. So Hall of Fame running back there, he and I are friends outside of the business as well. So it's been a tremendous opportunity. I feel very lucky to have been, and still am, a part of what I do up there in Buffalo.
Did you like that Thurman Thomas aspect? Well, yeah, you guys did a great job.
Yeah.
But that's that day, week in and week out, is that?
No, you know, it was interesting because here's a guy who'd done it. You know, here's a guy who did it at a high level, did it at a Hall of Fame level, and was very opinionated in terms of how he felt, what was going on with the team, whether good or bad, right or wrong. He would tell you what he thought needed to change. So to get his feeling on it, to get his thoughts on what he was seeing on the field, why was the run game not working, should they be running the ball more to open up the passing game, sort of the commitment and the attitude it takes to be and play at that level. If you talk about the Super Bowl runs that those teams had, so no, it was always a good thing to be a part of, and always a good relationship to have as well.
I'd say the funniest thing that happened to Jeff Russo was
right. I think you get better at it. You know, I think over time, been in this business for 15 years. I remember here in Jamestown, complete scripts going away, or the prompter would be gone, and you really sort of sink or swim. That's how you learn. Nowadays, things will happen all the time, and you're sort of more used to doing it. You hope it comes across as well as it can, but if your guest goes away, or your mic goes down, or the video's not there, just a matter of dealing with it like in any other business. But yeah, it's live TV. If you make a mistake, people see it for sure, no doubt.
You ever sit down with Van Miller? Do you ever go sit with Van?
I've gotten to know Van over the years. Obviously, the Hall of Famer that he is, storied, celebrated voice of the Buffalo Bills. Gotten to know him over the years. Haven't sat down with him in a long time, but I do see him every Sunday and say hello in the press box there for Buffalo Bills games. He still goes to almost all the games.
Okay.
Yeah, this past year. So one of the greatest parts about being in this business is sort of tapping the brains, getting a chance to talk to the people that really were trailblazers in the industry. Larry Felser, Nick Carucci, the John Murphys, even some of our competitors. Ed Kilgore had an amazing, still has an amazing career in Western New York. So there's a lot of people you can learn from and celebrate the careers that we've done.
Rick Azar.
Yeah.
Is he around?
He is not around. He has been back. We've had several conversations along the way. I believe he's down in Florida. But I have seen him. I know his son, I believe, is still in Western New York, if not in Buffalo. And he's been to several Buffalo Bills games. He's been back. So we talk about trailblazers, look no further than Rick, right? Just a guy who's been willing to do anything, say anything, help us out in any way we can. So that's another guy that's, to have the ability and the privilege to work at a station like a Rick Azar, it's pretty amazing. I think those playoff runs with the Sabres were pretty special. I think there were some games there. I can think of the Jason Pominville goal in Ottawa, shorthanded to win that series, was pretty amazing. I can think of how tense things were in Carolina, one period away from them going to the Stanley Cup Finals, was pretty amazing. Had some pretty amazing games for the Buffalo Bills along the way too. The win over the Patriots. So they haven't been able to sort of crack that playoff drought as of yet, but I'm quite certain that they're on the right path. We'll have to wait and see. But it's been an honor and a privilege, and there's been a lot of things I've covered that I'll always hold close to my heart.
You're a class act. Jeff, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.